WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. Within the last hour, Oktibbeha County supervisors released the names of 2 potential buyers of OCH Regional Medical Center. WCBI's Scott Martin joins us live in the studio with those details. Scott.
Joey, supervisors announced Baptist Memorial Healthcare Corporation and North Mississippi Health Services as potential buyers. This means the 2 organizations have agreed with the requirements made by the board pending the potential sale. Those requirements include making at least $25 million after they pay $35 million in hospital-related bond financing. The buyer would also have to have plans on keeping existing employees and promote employee retention and stability. They'd also agree to the expanding of clinical services in primary care, cardiology, mental health, and telehealth. Well, these are just a few of those requirements. By sharing these names of potential buyers, supervisors feel it gives voters more information when it comes to making a decision on whether or not to go through with this sale. Residents will vote on the matter on November 7th. Supervisors say even if the vote is yes, the county isn't bound to accept any proposal and can reject any and all proposals. The RFP process also allowed for the option of a long-term lease, but supervisors say a proposal for that option was not submitted. Joey, back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Scott. A town hall meeting is set to kick off right now in Starkville to address any concerns residents may have regarding the future of OCH. Supervisor Marvell Howard, it was his idea. Our Quentin Smith joins us live from outside the courthouse and has more. Quentin?
The information on the bids they received for OCH. And this is information residents have been asking them to release ever since they first got this information last week. Now, you may remember, it was last Tuesday we first reported that the board said they would agree to go along with the sale of OCH if that's what the voters choose on November 7th. Tonight, Supervisor Marvell Howard is holding a town hall meeting to give residents some clarity about all this information that's been released about the possible sale of OCH. And during this meeting, residents will have the chance to talk to Howard and ask him questions and concerns that they may have about the possible sale of OCH. Now, as you mentioned, that meeting is underway right now as we speak, and we have residents continuing to pour in. I'm going to go inside. I'll have more from this meeting coming up tonight on WCBI News at 9 and 10. But for now, reporting live in Starkville, Quentin Smith, WCBI News.
All right, looking forward to that tonight, Quentin. All right, in other news, Columbus PD makes a few changes to its hiring process. There will still be background checks and psych evaluations. Now, someone's computer could give more clues about an applicant's life. WCBI's Parker King speaks with CPD and the Police Overview Committee. He joins us live outside police headquarters with more.
We just wanted to come together and see if there were some things that we could do as a committee to assist the police department in the hiring process.
Checking an applicant's social media was one of the main points made by both Columbus PD and the Police Overview Committee.
People can come in and sit in front of you and give a great interview, but social media will let you know how their character really is.
Prior to this decision, CPD wasn't checking the social media accounts of people who applied for an officer's position. Now, social media will be observed almost as much as the applicant.
There are some things that we have to be aware of with doing that with social media, but it does help us to look at a person and how to direct our questions as for certain issues with social media and what they're posting out there.
Previous legislation prevents employers from asking employees for a social media password.
But anything that's put out there publicly like that, it's just you're able to look at it.
Police Chief Oscar Lewis believes talking to people who may not be a reference on an application can help weed through the process.
There are things that we can do as far as getting out into the neighborhoods and talking with the neighbors of these people that are putting in to become police officers in this community.
Police Overview Committee members can sit in during interviews, adding an outside perspective to the selection process.
We're not allowed to vote as far as who gets the job. Ultimately, that will be the responsibility of the police chief. But we can come in as well and sit in on the interviews to try to, help decipher and see what we can do as far as determining good applicants.
Now, Chief Lewis says CPD administrators will be more thorough in the application process overall. Now that CPD's numbers are up to par, he's hoping to bring in the best into the force. Well, work begins on a four-story office complex that many believe will draw more development to Tupelo's Fair Park district. Groundbreaking ceremonies were held for Fair Park Towers today. The 40,000 square foot office and retail project is at the old Tupelo Fairgrounds, just west of the Community Development Foundation. Maloney Development Properties is developing the project. Owner Colin Maloney says the development will generate a lot of interest from other builders and developers.
It'll be office space, it'll be some retail space on the first floor, and we're actually trying to actively recruit a restaurant for the first floor now.
This kicks off phase 3 of the Fair Park project master plan. This will hopefully lead to more development right here in downtown.
Construction should be complete by June. Time now to turn our attention to weather, and Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson joins us with a first look at your forecast. Keith?
Joe, now in Columbus and just about everywhere else, we are sunny. We are in the low 80s. Currently in Columbus, 82 degrees. The air is dry. It's quite comfortable out there. Already 79 in Louisville and Winona, 81 in Tupelo, 81 in Starkville. This evening, we will quickly fall from the 80s into the mid-70s after sunset around 7 o'clock, mid-60s by 11. Taking it down into the mid and upper 50s tonight. We're going to do all of this again tomorrow before some tropical weather affects us this weekend. More on that in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks a lot, Keith. An update on a body found in North Columbus earlier this week. The preliminary autopsy shows there was no sign of foul play or trauma to the body of 26-year-old Benjamin Wells of Columbus. Lowndes County Coroner Greg Merchant says he is now awaiting a toxicology report. Wells was found in the 700 block of Waterworks Road about 3 o'clock Monday morning. A body found in a burned car in South Lee County has been identified. Lee County Coroner Carolyn Green says DNA confirms the remains are that of 33-year-old Jay Hill. A farmer discovered the burned Lincoln Navigator while searching for lost livestock in mid-September. Hill, the son of Corinth Alderman J.C. Hill, was reported missing August 9th. He had just moved to Tupelo from Horn Lake and was reportedly traveling between the cities when he disappeared. Law enforcement patrolling the Natchez Trace Parkway have a new tool to catch speeding motorists. WCBI's Allie Martin tells us how advanced technology is helping park rangers keep the recreational road safe for drivers.
LiDAR laser sensors mean better accuracy when conducting traffic enforcement along the Natchez Trace Parkway. Supervisory Law Enforcement Ranger John Hearn says it catches speeders in a different way.
It uses laser instead of radio waves to measure the speed of vehicles.
Ranger Hearn says the laser technology is more precise than radar guns.
As distance opens up, the beam starts to spread over a greater distance. At 1,000 feet, our lasers are only covering 30 inches. So it's a very narrow, specific beam that actually requires careful aiming in order to get a measurement from a vehicle.
So it's pretty simple to operate. You just have to lock onto the vehicle. They're going 45 miles an hour. In the black car, they're going 41. Now we have a gray silver car coming towards us. You have to keep up with it. Toyota's going 26. That's easy to use.
LiDAR sensors can only be operated from a stationary vehicle, and there are no plans for the new technology to replace radar guns on the Natchez Trace. Each unit has a price tag of about $2,500, and there is one in each district. Ranger Hearn also says drivers with radar detectors may be in for a surprise.
The only question I've really been asked is why didn't my radar detector go off? And the problem is a lot of radar detectors don't pick this up at all or very well.
He says there is one way to avoid being stopped, and that is to drive the speed limit. In Tupelo, I'm Allie Martin, WCBI News.
A speeding ticket on the Natchez Trace Parkway is a federal Class C misdemeanor. A Columbus Fire and Rescue receives a new ATV to use in a natural disaster or rescue operation. The Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation donated a rescue ATV to the department today. It is equipped with emergency lights, a medical rescue skid, and trailer, making it easier for first responders to reach impassable areas. The foundation raised money by selling pickle buckets and asked customers to round up their orders to the nearest dollar. Well, coming up after the break, an almost 4-decade-old festival brings music, food, and fun to the streets of Columbus. And following an injury, a Winston Academy player is recovering. That story after the break. Welcome back, everyone. For nearly 4 decades, the people, the music, and the centerpiece of African American culture in Columbus has been celebrated. The 34th annual 7th Avenue Heritage Festival is set to kick off tomorrow. There will be performances by R&B group Lakeside and rap artist 8Ball. Alcorn State's marching band, The Sound of Dynamite, will parade through the streets. State Representative Kabir Kareem says it's a great opportunity for families to have fun.
We've got national artists that will be here this weekend. We've got a lot of regional bands, good food, good vendors. So we're just encouraging everyone to come out, enjoy, and just take part in this celebration.
The festival officially begins Friday evening and ends Saturday. A Winston Academy football player injured in a game begins physical therapy today. Senior Zach McDill took a knee to his chin while attempting to make a tackle during the end of the third quarter of last Friday's game. Now that he's been released from the hospital, McDill has most of the feeling back in his legs. However, there are still some issues with his left leg. McDill says he's recovering faster than he and the doctors expected.
I was really scared, honestly, because I couldn't feel my legs, you know. I couldn't really move much, and I was just scared for my life, you know. Like I wouldn't be able to walk again or anything.
As community support has been overwhelming, and he plans to watch tomorrow night's game on the sideline.
Weather-wise on Friday, we're looking great. Low 60s at 8 o'clock, mostly sunny during the day. 81 at noon, 86 in the afternoon, relatively dry. Then the humidity returns for the weekend. Showers and storms are possible. And Tropical Storm Nate, it's still out there. The latest is next.
Your first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Here's our Alpha Insurance time lapse from downtown Tupelo today. Absolutely amazing. A few low-level cumulus clouds, some higher cirrus clouds, moving in different directions, but a pretty nice day out there. Dry air, tons of sunshine. We warmed up into the mid-80s. You can see high pressure and firm control across the southeast. Clouds and showers and storms back to our northwest, and that's where they will be tomorrow. Also, there's moisture down in Florida. We're watching that because that's going to start surging in here as we get into tomorrow night and Saturday, and then Nate will be after that on Sunday, it would appear. Low 80s and upper 70s in the region right now on this Thursday evening, down into the 50s tonight, mid to upper 80s around here tomorrow. Once again, we are mostly sunny and warm for Friday. High school football looks great. Temperatures falling back into the 70s tomorrow evening. And then look at this. We haven't seen this for a while, long time. Showers and thunder showers possible Saturday afternoon and evening as some of that moisture comes on in. It's going to be humid, but we will still see highs in the 80s on Saturday. Speaking of Saturday, head on over to Mossy Oak in West Point 10 to 2. Meteorologist Jacob Dickey will be there manning our severe weather awareness booth. And he'll get you updated on the latest on Nate and also the storm season that's coming on up. And if you have a weather radio, bring it along. And if it has this same capability, we can program it for you as we get into the upcoming storm season. We'll see more and more severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings around here, that's for sure. And we also are watching Tropical Storm Nate. The actual center right now is actually over land, so there won't be any strengthening in the near term. Once that gets back over water, likely intensifying a little bit more so tomorrow and even into Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon, likely becoming a Category 1 hurricane in the southern Gulf. At this point, it looks like it's moving towards southeastern Louisiana or southern Mississippi as far as the landfall, and then the remnant low is going to be moving back to the northeast, and this is the cone of uncertainty, so the center could be anywhere within that cone there, and that does include our coverage area here in northeast Mississippi. So the forecast models tend to be converging here upon the solution to get that center of circulation somewhere near our area. And the big thing with this is the possibility for some heavy rainfall, several inches of rain possible, some gusty wind. We certainly know that. And if we are west of the center of circulation, there will be no tornado threat. If the center of circulation is just to our west, or at least west of some counties, we will have an isolated tornado threat in part of our area. It would appear on the eastern side of that tropical circulation on Sunday. So that's something we're watching out for the second half of the weekend. Warm 80s in the near term. Some showers will linger into next week, Joey.
All right, well, coming up next, Ole Miss looks for redemption in Alabama, preparing for the Auburn Tigers. More from head coach Matt Luke next in sports.
WCDI Sports with Tom Ebel is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
Ole Miss prepares for another tough test in the Yellowhammer State, taking on Auburn. The Rebels enter as 22.5-point underdogs at Jordan-Hare Stadium Saturday. And that may be reasonable after the lopsided loss in Tuscaloosa and Auburn's bashing of Mississippi State. But the Rebels are looking forward to the next challenge, and head coach Matt Luke knows a win can come on any given Saturday.
College football is so week to week. You know, I mean, it's a week to week, and our guys know that. And you know, anybody can beat anybody on any given Saturday in this league. And you just gotta go out there and you gotta play your game. And when the break comes your way, you gotta take advantage of it. And you know, I think you don't ever know what happens. If we pick off that ball in the end zone last week, it may be a totally different outcome just all the way around. You're not saying you would have won or whatever, but I think, you know, one play, one momentum shift can change a whole game. And I think it's very important for this team to get off to a good start.
The Alabama Crimson Tide head to the 12th man to take on Texas A&M. The Aggies have reeled off 4 straight wins since that nightmare implosion against UCLA, and the pass rush is a big part of that success. The Aggies lead the SEC in sacks, impressively replacing NFL talents like Myles Garrett and Deshaun Hall. Head coach Nick Saban breaks down what helps A&M reach the quarterback 13 times in the past 2 games.
They pressure a lot. In other words, they are going to rush 5 and 6 guys a lot, so they make some of those very athletic guys. They put you in a position where you have to single block those guys and you can't help much on them. So I think it's the combination of they have a really good scheme and they have really good players who can pass rush and finish on the quarterback.
So while we have to wait until Saturday for Ole Miss and Alabama, tonight, JUCO football in action. Great top 15 matchup between number 1 EMCC and Holmes in Scuba. Buddy Stevens is 9-0 against Holmes, while at EMCC he'll look to make it 10 coming up tonight. And then another good one up in Fulton. Northeast travels to ICC. The Indians are winners of 8 of the last 10 against Northeast. We'll have highlights of these games coming up at 10 right here on WCBI Sports. As well as that, high school also a day early. The end zone comes a little bit early. We'll have some highlights coming up at 10. Divisional showdowns. North Pontotoc travels to Kossuth. Both teams sitting at the top of Region 1 3A. Also division leading Okolona charges into TCPS. Okolona looking to stay hot after their big win over Smithville last week. Again, we'll have highlights of all these games coming up later tonight on WCBI Sports. And while we'll be waiting for tonight, the NFL in action right here on WCBI. Patriots taking on Buccaneers. That kickoff at 7:25 Central Time. Just an hour from now. That should be who knows, probably a 40-38 game for how bad those defenses have been playing over the past couple weeks in the NFL. And also looking forward to Sunday. Titans taking on the Dolphins. That kickoff is at noon. We'll have both those games right here on WCBI. Titans looking to rebound after a bad loss to Houston last week. Again, we'll have all the highlights of JUCO and high school coming up tonight on WCBI Sports. We'll have a last year forecast coming up next.
Nice weather tomorrow. Rain showers possible Saturday. We're watching Nate on Sunday. And, of course, we'll have the latest coming up tomorrow morning on Sunrise and right here tomorrow evening.
Yeah, Nate, making for a messy weekend.
My other time.
Right. Thanks for joining us.